Anyone else from the public before we close public hearing? Going
Motion,
once.
motion to close the public hearing. Second.
I have a motion from Ted, second from Ron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are out of public hearing. BudCom, you're all set.
Well, we'll see you on,
Stand by. But,
Tomorrow night, school board.
hold on real quick. Go ahead, Sean.
So I just wanted to get everyone's feedback before I stated this. So Mr. Bouchard brought up, we had talked about cuts for a while, and we have not bid on one of them. We discussed a lot of them. So if I could, I would like to make two suggestions. So the first, and
Does this have to be part of the public hearing?
does it have to be part of the public hearing? Because then I think
does not,
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Make sure we're following process.
Yeah, thank you. So with the first thing, every time we propose cuts, it doesn't mean we hate the department. You know, I love police, but if Kim Bernard said he wanted a $1 billion budget, I'd probably ask for a cut. That doesn't mean we hate these departments and I don't like it. I realize every single one of them are valuable. I realize when everybody comes up here and talks about, you know, things about like, tonight we heard how wonderful the library is. I think the library is wonderful. I think it does a lot of good things for this community. There's no doubt it should be there, and it exists for a reason. DPW, police, fire. But with that, we've got us as town councilors have to manage the store. We have to try to keep everything in line. And I prefer not to get emotional about these things. I prefer to just do facts and do research. So in the first thing, I did a little research, and I did look into the library because I wanted to see, with all the facts that were presented before, to see statistically, are we in line with other libraries? I took the 14 libraries in the state that had the budget at the level of our library or more. And part of the issue is I want to make sure that we're getting the right allocation of the money for this. So statistically, looking at our library, as far as adult programming, we were the lowest ranked of those libraries. We were 62% away from the next closest program. So there was significant underutilization of that. Out of those 14, we were 12th in total programming. We were 13th in total children's program attendance out of 14. We were last in adult attendance, with the next closest program being 58% away. We were 13th out of 14th in program attendance. We were the only library in those where everyone employed all had master's degrees. We had the lowest website visits. We had the lowest wireless sessions. We had the highest percentage of staff expenditure in salary and wages as far as percentage of total expenditures. We had the lowest, or the second lowest, physical item circulation per physical library materials expenditure. That just means the price that it costs to have these things. We were the lowest in rank in most cost-efficient electronic item circulation per material expenditure. Second lowest in total collection per total collection expenditure as far as being cost-effective. Fourth lowest in total operating expenditure per library visit. We had the lowest number of print item materials, second lowest ebook circulation, second lowest audiobook circulation, second lowest in young adult attendance, lowest total program attendance, third lowest in program attendance per registered user. We had significantly highest total program expense, which was double more than any of the other libraries. And we also had the fourth lowest registered user to population expense as far as being one of the higher ranked ones for spending. So with that, I think the problem is not, and none of this is towards Erin because she actually doesn't generate the budget. She just manages the budget. And I don't, you've got attacked in a lot of this, and I want to make this is not about you. You don't create this. A lot of this is weighted towards staff salaries versus what we offer as programs. I love the library, and I want all these services to equal out and balance out how we're doing our budget. But when you look at comparable libraries that offer these level of services, the next comparable one has a budget of 100,000 less. We get 8% of raises yearly, most likely, at the library. With these, we also, and I agree, librarians shouldn't be fundraisers, but the Keene Library, which has a significant spend, their friends of the Keene Library raised $55,000 for them as far as fundraising. So it wouldn't be the job of the librarians, but it's something that the Friends of the Leach Library could look into. With that, and since we haven't cut a thing, I would just ask the rest of the council what they think about getting this more in line for what we provide for services, because I feel like we're unbalanced. I feel like if we ask for another librarian and we keep requiring master's degrees, unlike other programs, our salary expenses are going to keep going up because we hire higher and we add percentages every single year higher on top of that, so they quickly grow out of budget and where we had. So I didn't know if there's an appetite for anyone here, but that would be my proposal, to get that to the level of services we have and get it in line with everything else, because some of our other departments are not in line, or as we heard from Mr. Bouchard, like our police, we can't afford to hire 4 police officers with our current budget, even though we want them. But with this, I think we have some price of staffing issues, and I think we've made 2 requests to the trustee board before, and they came back unanswered. And so I'm left with this to ask of the council to see if we would entertain that.
So here's where I'm struggling. I've been running all these numbers all night long, right? And this is why I'm struggling with all this. So for insurance, we're up $485,000. Police, we're up $1.2 million. And fire, we're up $1 million. So for police and fire and insurance, we're up $2,685,000. I'm just struggling with the whole thing. I mean, it's so. If you're looking to cut in the library, I need $62,500 to get a penny. Mm-hmm. But I'm going up 2.685 between police and fire, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
I'm just reading what's in front of me.
No, it all adds up, and I just think, and I have a second suggestion after this. It's not just them, and we shouldn't be just picking on them. And in any other department, I would go through this same analysis. It's just we haven't cut a thing in this, and I'm just looking for us to show something to the community that we're willing to do something.
And take the bottom line and take a number off the bottom line and distribute it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that. So back before we had SB2, we had town meeting, and people would come in and say, and they just cut $100,000, and you guys go figure it out, because it's a bottom line budget. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just having a discussion.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point a couple of things about your statistics. You based your stats based off of money, so how much money that library in particular is spending, not population size. And when you compare population size by services, the library is still 3.5 people short based off of the size of the town in which it is in. And so Keene, also I know you mentioned Keene and how many programs and stuff they have. They actually have a head of engagement. We do not. And so that head of engagement is probably, I'm presuming, I don't know, I don't have, the job responsibilities, but it sounds like that's somebody who's responsible for programming, fundraising, and all that other kinds of stuff specifically. And with that, of course they can, fundraise $55,000 a year. They have somebody who's solely responsible for that. We don't. And so I think, comparing apples to apples, I think it's a little unfair.
So, real quick, please. We had a public hearing regarding the budget. We are having town council discussion. Would it be appropriate to release the BudCom at this time?
Yes.
With that, I'll ask I'll thank the budget committee for their comments and time. And also for the community. Have a moment recess.
Oh, not yet.
Just in case you
Oh,
have a
they,
question.
yeah.
We just might have a question for them.
No, they have to present items
Right.
tonight.
Cheerson.
Kirsten, they have other items they have to present tonight.
I'm running.
Sorry. We need you.
They were. Could always move them up.
So would we.
Those stats, I'm gonna run those numbers now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Sean, do you want to have further discussion? Do you want to? And again, thank you to the budget committee.
I'll elaborate on that. I think that, to John's point, maybe we should ask for, a 1% or 2%. We got to do something. The community's asking us.
Yeah.
They're saying to us, we can't afford to live here. Should we propose a 1%? Just something to show that we hear them.
So the question is who's asking us? I feel like we haven't actually heard from a large percentage of people saying this. And when, you're looking at 1%, 3%, 4%, as we've gone through, that's a large amount of money. Even a 1% on our budget would be a massive amount of money. And we wouldn't be able to do that without affecting positions.
Justin,
not
may
true.
I ask
I
you?
chime in
We
real
tried.
quick.
That's not true. We tried 1%.
Can I-
No, we didn't.
Can I
Yeah,
chime in
Joe,
real quick?
Yeah.
We're talking about the proposed budget, correct? Not the default budget.
That is
Right.
correct. We
Yes.
can't do anything with,
Right.
with the default.
Yeah.
Justin, while we continue deliberation, would you be willing to please look at what percentage of the proposed budget, if you took, say, give me a dollar amount, gentlemen,
I'm more a percentage.
1%
1%.
444,000.
That's definitely doable.
444,000?
Roughly.
It would show the public that we hear them. I mean, right? We.
That right, just
so-
take it from UFB then.
No,
That's still no.
sorry.
No.
I just, you guys, obviously, you're the voting selectmen, and
Yeah.
I do not believe it is a good practice to utilize UFB for regular expenses. It gets to the point where we're now, to me, it becomes a bait and switch situation, and
agree.
that's not fair to the
So then
taxpayers.
I'll
That's
go
my
back
own
to the
personal
argument
opinion.
that We've
but-
been right-sizing the budget with all our directors and our chief of police and chief of fire, that we've really right-sized everything. I don't know where else they'd be able to cut at this point to save 450 grand.
We haven't asked them, have we?
We've asked them multiple times.
We asked for 4%, and we were told that wasn't possible. 1%.
4% on the default.
Right. Right. So I don't think it's an issue.
Sarah,
Yeah,
just pause, Sarah.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on that. The previous ask was 4% of the default, which is a very different number than
Right.
a percentage on the proposed.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And just for the sake of information, the default, I know I have it right here, but for those that don't, the default budget is what dollar amount, please? And again, we're still missing CBA's.
Correct.
That is a huge
That's
key that
separate
we
warrant
need to-
articles.
Separate warrant articles, but the default budget,
Is $43,845,459.
and it's the proposed budget, absent of the CBA's.
Is $44,467,849. The difference, the increase, is $622,390.
600 and how much, please?
$22,390.
Proposed budget over the default.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So Justin, to John's point, if we asked all department heads to cut 1%, do you have an idea how much that would be for each department? Roughly, or just? I'm asking because I want to. Ted doesn't
One
think it can be
second, I
done.
can tell
I think
you.
it can be. I don't think it's to cut that much off each department. I don't think is a big ask.
Are we including library?
Yes,
Are we, okay.
we're including all department heads.
I'm just going to take out insurance as well as debt service. And are you good with taking out general assistance
Yes.
from that calculation?
You? Are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yes.
So, police, that would be a 117,339. For fire, that would be 99,190. Public Works would be the next one, next biggest with 51,780. I can keep going through, but I figured you guys just want the heavy hitters up front. The smallest would be the town council with 131, or the conservation with $35.
Let's just throw us out the library since we're talking about the library.
The library, it would be $15,677.
And that's. We're just
So
doing.
John,
we're just
can
doing
you
it.
get John up to speed?
So yeah, we're just doing. a quick
What were we just
calculation.
doing?
We're
Bottom
just
line
doing
cut?
a
He was-
1%
yeah,
cut
that's what he
on
was
all
suggesting.
departments, all department heads.
So what's that?
So
44.
you just-
So
400 and
400. So it was
50-ish.
117 for police.
So 1%. So you're looking.
So taking out the departments-
62,500 into 440,000.
So taking out the departments we discussed, though, we talked about taking out insurance and general assistance as well as debt
Take
service.
debt service out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Take
just
solid
those.
waste out.
Okay. Taking solid waste out,
Can't cut solid waste. The garbage has got to go somewhere.
that is 340,000.
So, all right, so 62,000 into that is,
Just
Nickel?
about 5.5 cents.
so 5.5 cents. So 5.5 cents times 500.
$25.
Does anyone know what the median house is in Londonderry?
595 is last
Beg
time.
pardon?
Income or house?
595?
All right, so 600, so $30. I mean, whatever everybody wants to do is fine with me. I mean,
I think we
just-
have to show something.
I think we're just saying we think we have to show something, and people are saying here that we have to.
I'm not disagreeing with
I
you.
mean,
I was trying to be more specific, but I think you brought up the
I
general,
actually like
so I
yours
was
as
like,
well.
It's a
well,
bottom line budget.
yeah.
yeah, you know,
I mean, but if you're gonna, so the question you ask yourself is okay, if you're gonna cut $30 off the tax bill, does that cost us any services? That's the question. I don't know the answer to it. I just happened to think of the question.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to be targeted with something where I thought things were not in line.
I get it.
The only other suggestion I had on that is Ryan last time had brought up the calculation between the overtime. I feel like it's a little high on the fire, and we could take off some of that and get it more, but I don't know what exactly that amount is. Those are the only two areas I saw where we could really get something. And again, we haven't bid on a thing, and Dan Bouchard brought it up, and he was exactly right. We should do something to show them, and those were my only thoughts of things that I could come that rose to the top.
Well, though, I feel like we have done something, because originally at our meeting in November, was it 2nd or 3rd, there were a lot higher budgets, and the over-proposed budget was about 800 to 900,000 over default. Now we're only at about 600.
But I think that one was just an exercise.
that was an exercise.
No.
Yeah.
So, right, so the killers here is insurance. Yeah, that's really our big nut, is the insurance piece. And then we're looking at fires going up $1 million. And police is going up 1.2 million. It's not that I don't understand what everybody's saying. I'm just pointing out the obvious, I guess. And when I go back to the numbers we've been running all night long. So
Well, that's why the first one I brought up, I think it would keep it in line with. And yes, some of those other places had higher population, which means we should actually be better in spending them, but in proportional spending, we're not. So that's part of the problem, to respond to what Kate said. But that was the only where I think we could without decreasing services. And I know some members of the budget committee have actually offered their help in how to get that budget rightly in line, so it is spending in proportional to communities of the services it offers.
Can I just pause you?
Yeah.
To the public, I'm having an extreme difficult time with the crosstalk in the public. I really want to. I value your input during the time. I value public comment. I value your input. I truly, truly do. But I personally am having a challenging time hearing the council deliberate, And if I could please respectfully ask, if you have crosstalk, if you could kindly please just temporarily remove yourself from the council chambers. You are more than welcome to stay. I'm not asking anyone to leave. I'm just asking if conversations could be outside of the council chamber so that we can hear each other. And someone who has a hard time paying attention, it is rather challenging to me. So thank you for your understanding. Please continue.
I was
Sorry
finished.
for interrupting.
No, I was. That's just the only thing where I think there's assistance offered, and I think it would be good for them to take that up if they so choose. But I do think it's disproportional for the level of services. So I think in that we could remove that and still maintain the level of service that we're having today. If we want an increased level of service, that's another story. But for the level of services we provide in proportion to other libraries in the state, that's what the number is. So that's what I try to just look at it unemotionally with all the facts from the state.
So what is your proposal specifically?
I mean, if we want to get it in line with the other things that offer, it's 100,000 less. If we want to do something less than that, I'd be happy with that. If we do something, it's just I'm trying to do something for the people that spoke tonight and the other people that have called me and talked to me throughout the entirety of this budget process. I think something would at least be a show from this council that those people are a voice in this community that matters too. The people on fixed income, the people just starting jobs, all the seniors that we have that make up a giant portion of our tax base. I'm trying to get something for them.
And I'll elaborate on that. I've had more than a handful of people. So I've had more than 5 people call me. They're concerned about the reevaluation next year, and they're concerned about how much their taxes are going to go up this year with this budget.
Well,
So I think that, those two together could be a big issue for people in Londonderry when they get their tax bill next December.
Can I?
Absolutely.
So, we're at $622,000 over default right now.
Yes.
Right? So cut 100. Tell them to go figure it out.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I'm not saying cut it where from.
yeah.
Tell them to go figure it out.
Yeah,
I think we need to do
Agreed.
something to show
I agree
show
with
that
what
we
John
have them.
said.
You good with 100?
No,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I'm
You
good with
it all?
I'm good with
622 to 522,
I,
and just figure it out.
just to say we did something.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying we did something, but if they come back to us and say that I'm cutting ALS services because you cut $100,000, I'm gonna have a little bit of a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think we have responsible department heads that wouldn't do that, right? I think it was right. I'm just saying. I
I
think we have
understand. I'm
responsible.
just-
And I think
I'm
we need to
just-
be responsible partners and help them with that, not just
Yeah.
if they so choose. If they so choose that they want to figure it out, they're welcome to it.
Tell them to go find the $100,000. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
So on a $600 home, that'll save you $9.60.
it all matters.
It all matters. That's right. It all matters.
Okay.
So 100,000 from the total budget.
100,000 from the total budget, which is currently at $622,000 over default.
Perfect.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
We should do it fairly though.
Okay. It's a consensus.
and that doesn't target anyone. So that's
Right.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
feel
it
better
fairly
about
across
that.
the board.
I feel bad about even picking anyone. So I'm better with your answer.
I feel like we need to do something.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still questioning whether the budget's going to get approved at all over default. So I mean,
Yeah.
All right.